there is a guide that I think was originally done by Jean Case, which has tips and syntax and so on in getting started. And then there is some syntax that you need to know in this wiki. It's a little bit not quite as just type it in there, and you know, and it shows up as I think the public wiki sites that you were showing earlier.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the reference, and I started out with a procedure manual, and I just started putting in a policy manual. So I'll show you the procedures, and I divided it up this way. So this is, you can see we're kind of at different levels in the hierarchy. I have the procedures, then I'm going to the procedure policy, and then this is the way I have the procedure procedures manual divided up. So this is the first part is just the basic procedures that we do at the reference desk. What we do when we open the reference desk, what we do when we close the reference desk, and so on. And what you do is you create sort of a hierarchical structure here with these headings. So these headers are at different levels. And each time you make a header, it automatically generates this nice outline over here. So that even if you end up with quite a long section, which is probably the longest of all those categories I had on the last page, it's very easy to jump down to wherever you want to be in the hierarchy. And it does it automatically. I don't have to do anything to set this up except for create a heading over here. And I'll show you what that means. So I just wanted to show you that you can also create different links in the document. So these are links within the reference wiki. And this one is not actually in this section since it's over in the computers section of the wiki. So when I link here there, that takes me over to that section. Okay, so I can create internal links within the reference wiki. And then I can also create external links out to the web, or I guess pretty much anything I would want to link to that you can get to by means of a link. So, for instance, we use the Communicate software to do our email reference service. So I have a link in here that takes you straight over to the Communicate login page. And I have lots of external links in there. Just, you know, don't memorize the passwords. But anyway, so I've been able to put, you know, what we use for our passwords. So this is closed only for library staff, so I feel fairly comfortable doing that. But I think you can see, you know, how much better this is. I have it online, it's searchable, and anybody can come in and make changes. Now that might seem a little bit odd, but I don't really think that anybody but the reference librarians would really be making changes in here, although actually the whole library staff has the ability to do that. But really when you're out there at the reference desk, you find out that things are different than this says, and I just assume rather than everybody email me and say, no, change this, didn't change it, just make the change. And you know, I can always go back and check it later. So that's the way it works. I know Sarah's put some entries in and Linda's changed some things. So any of us can make the changes. It's not all dependent on me staying on top of everything. That's one really big advantage. Whoops, what did I do? Okay. I did that. Okay. Just to show you really quickly, if you go into edit, what it looks like, so you can see what that looks like. So you can see there is a little bit of kind of funky syntax you have to learn here. But most of the things that you need to know are provided up here. So if I click on header 1, it will make a top level header for me. Okay. And I can actually show you how to do that. I'm not going to do that in this one. Okay. So how am I doing on time here, Sarah? Okay. All right. Okay. So that's the procedure manual. That's all in there. One point I want to make, and actually Hannah and I were talking about this, I went in piece by piece into my existing Word document and just copied the chunk. So I could copy from my Word document into the wiki without having to rewrite everything. Okay, and then I would just do my editing and make the changes I wanted to make and sort of Wikify it. But Hannah, you said you just took the whole document and slapped it in there, right?
Yeah.
And then you went through and made the headers and so on. So really, it's, if you're thinking, oh, this is this big project to take my procedure manual and, put it on Wiki, if you've got it in a Word document already, it's very easy to do. I actually had my student assistant do most of this. So, of actually, moving the information into Wiki. Okay, so, I can show you. Oh, and it does keep track of where you are. So I can go back to reference here. And so policy. So I just started on this. So I've gotten this far. So I can either go in and edit just this section, which is kind of nice, but I'm going to go in and edit this page so it sort of has the whole page up there for me to work on. So if I wanted to add in the next section, okay, so the next section, I think I want to do something on staffing. So I have header 1 is the big header there, so I'm going to do header 2, and then I can just type staffing in there. And then I can type whatever I want to put in there, and I can create an unnumbered list, unordered list is what they call it. So I can start to put the same thing, just put something in there. Blah, 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 okay. And if I want to see what it's going to look like, I can do preview. And I can scroll down and you can see it's created the header. It's created a new entry in my outline, and it's put the first of my unnumbered list of things that I'm going to put in here. You can do numbered lists also, that wouldn't trick you. So you can see it's really pretty easy to do. It just, the learning curve was not very steep at all. So, basically, I was going to show. Does anybody have any questions about that? One of the things I'm thinking about doing next is we have a number of questions that we get repeatedly, particularly through our email reference service. And, we all type this long explanation and then every time. And so what I'm thinking of doing is gathering a lot of our more common questions, putting them in the Wiki. You can just go into the Wiki and find that, whatever we put in there as our standard answer, copy it and paste it into the email back to the students so we aren't constantly having to, say again what kind of periodic